Hi guys, so this is the part 3 of our JavaScript mastery, and we'll be focusing on the if-else statement this time. Some of the things we can use the if-else statement to do is to check age. We can use it for user authentication. We can use it for grade evaluation. We can use it to check for arrays in an element. We can use it to check for array elements, handling errors, and choosing a path in a game. So let's see the codes. Before I move on, this is the basic structure. It is the if, then parenthesis, and then curly bracket. And then you open these curly brackets. Alright. Put your condition in this bracket. Right? Then you code what you want to print out if this condition is met. And the else comes after, as you can see. So what this code is saying basically is, I have a variable age. So let's say we have a student. He's 8 years old. He's 18 years old. We can use the if statement to say if the student is more 18 years old or more, you can print you an adult. Else, you can console the log you're not an adult. That's a very simple code. So we'll come here. And press node. You're an adult because the student is 18. So if we put 17 and run the same code, you're not an adult. Alright? So basically this age variable is being used as a condition for console login in our if statement. Remember, the condition is in a bracket while the code to print or to act based on that condition is in the curly bracket. And the other example we can use is we can use the if-else statement for user authentication. So this time we have two variables. The username is user and the password is password. These are the two variables we'll be using in our if-else. The basic structure of the if statement again is we have the if, the curved bracket, and the curly bracket. That's the basic structure. Alright. So our condition is here. If username is user and password is password, just like it is written here. If whoever is working with your app imputes something other than this, it shouldn't work. But if this is what the user imputes, he imputes user in the username field and password in the password field. What do you want to happen? In the curly bracket, you can write authentication success. Else, if he imputes any other thing, you can write authentication failed. So we can run our code again. Authentication successful. Why? Because this person put the right details. So let's say this person puts Ronaldo as his username. Alright, let's run it. Authentication failed. Alright, because our code specifically wants a particular password for authentication to be successful. So that's another usage for the if-else statement. When building an app, you can use it to authenticate users. So our basic, I keep showing this to you because sometimes people find it hard to remember the structure of the if-else statement. It is the if, the brackets, the curly brackets. Now you have a variable and you want to know what grade to give your students depending on what they score, right? You can use the if-else statement. But this time we'll be using the else if because we have several conditions, right? We start with if, we have else if, and we end with an else. Now, the student scores 67. We check if the score is greater or equal to 90. Give the student A. That condition wasn't met, so it goes to the next. Else if it is greater or equal to 80, that condition wasn't met. So this will not run because this condition. Imagine this condition like a door. It has to open for this to run. But when the condition is not met, the door is closed, so the code comes to line 27, greater or equal to 70. This is 67, score is not up to 70. And the condition says score has to be up to 70 or more for it to run. So the code comes here. Else means any other thing besides this. Besides these three conditions. Right, which means if it's 20, 30, 40, any other thing lower. All right, so I think this code should print F. As you can see, F is printed. If this student got 100, what will be printed? A. Right, so this is one way to use the if-else statement. Another way to use the if-else statement is to check for array elements, right? So let's say this array called my array has these items 1, 2, and then a string called item, and then we have number 4 and 5. We can use the if statement to check if your array includes is a way to check if an item is in an array, is a method. We'll study it in the future. As you can see, there's a file here called .include. We'll study the different applications of .include, but let's just use it here for now. If this item is included in this list, and here's the content of the list, print or console log item found in the array. As we can see, item is there, so we expect item found in the array to be printed out. Item found in the array. Now, if item is not in the list and what we have there is IT, what do we expect to see? What do we expect to see? We'll put an else and say item not found in the array. So let's come here and change it to it again. Let's run it. Item not found in the array. It is that simple. Alright, handling errors is another way we can use the if-else statement. And we have our variable. We want to check for errors and display a message. If the error exists, what do you want to do? You print that. Else, you print that. So this is another way to use the if-else statement to check for errors. Now, this says true, it means the error exists. So this is asking if if error or code exists, or if it is true. Those words means the same thing. If it exists or if it's true, I want this error. Now it is true. If we run it, an error occurred, something went wrong. But if we want this to print, what we can do is, as you can see, no errors. All right, so let's go to the next example, or the last example rather. So we're choosing a path in a game. Let player choice equal to run. If statement again, as you can see, the syntax remains the same. So what we're trying to do here is, for the character in our game, we're saying if the player chooses to attack, what do you want to do? You defeat the enemy. But if the player chooses to run, what do you want to do? Escape from the enemy. Otherwise, invalid choice. So you have to choose one of these two, run or attack. Right? This is a conditional statement you can put in your game, depending on the stage of your game where the user has to make a choice. Right? For now, the choice the user is choosing to make is to run. So if we pick that, you escape the enemy. What if the user decides to walk? Invalid choice, because you want them to either pick to walk, to run, or to attack. So if we run that, we have you defeated the enemy. So that's all for if-else statement for now, and that's all our code. See you in the next lesson.